Hello everyone, this is Yashel Gamer Girl for CollabCamerupt, and welcome for another SpeedArt 4th of July special. Woo! For those of you who don't live in America, I'm sorry. This is re-recorded for the 4th of July, but I didn't record it for it. I recorded it ahead of time. Anyway, today we're taking a suggestion from Alectrode, who wanted me to draw Greninja judging a Lickitung on how he was using his tongue and stuff. At first I thought, well, I could make it a mini comic and saying, well, Lickitung, you're not the only one who uses it, weirdly. I mean, look how Greninja uses it like a scarf. I mean, it's just really ironic on how to do that. Oh, and by the way, fun fact, this took 4 hours. I sped it up 2,500 times its normal speed, and that's why it's compressed so much. But it took forever just to get Greninja correct looking, because he has these like sort of muscular yet not muscular arms, but I didn't want it to make it look too faddish looking. That's why I was like having trouble with it and having to rearrange it. Plus, I don't draw circles well in real life, so I just kind of guess usually, and I have to make sure, oh, does the feet look right? Apparently the feet weren't. I had to go on Google and stuff, and I had to make sure that like the knees and the feet were correctly placed, and I just realized nope, they weren't, because I had to just redo it and stuff. But it doesn't matter, because I got it looking right eventually, but that is probably another reason why it took so long. I was looking at this picture the whole time. I'm like, are the shadows placed right? And I also realized that he had this little like thingy in the front of his body, and it looked weird. And I didn't like the placement of the hand before. At first he was having his hand on his hip, but after looking at it, I was like, it doesn't really look that good. So I just had him like resting his arm on his knee instead of having it like, But that took forever just to get the look right of Greninja, because oddly enough, it doesn't seem like it, but he's hard to grasp because of the fact that he has plenty of shapes. He's curvy and pointy in some points, and then there's the shades where has this certain blue, but then he has a darker blue on another side, and then you can only lighten it up. And the only reason I showed quote unquote muscle is because that's what his look is like. So it would highlight his sort of muscular yet not muscular tone. His tongue wasn't too hard, because the tongue I pretty much got spot on, but that was it. Everything else I really had to like redo. And when it came to a background, I'm like, oh, what kind of area? I usually come up with backgrounds right on the spot. So I thought, hey, let's just put him in a swamp area, so why not? So what I did, which is interesting, because when I come up with these things, I think, okay, what is the Pokemon? What kind of environment is around him? Would it be appropriate for the other one if I had more than one? So I decided, okay, swamp area would look okay. So what I did, as you can see, I'm putting multiple layers, because it wouldn't look good just with one layer, because then I'd have to go over and then I'd go under and stuff, and it just doesn't look good if it's overlapping too much or too little. The water was actually, I at first I'm like, oh no, it's transparent, because I used the what is it called? The airbrush, but I just realized that it looked okay. And I was also having trouble of what to actually write. Are you aware of how stupid how you look with that tongue? But I thought, no, such a waste of a nice long tongue, and have him be thinking about it. And yeah, I drew a little Greninja expression because it was more appropriate. He's thinking this, but he's not saying it out loud. And but it was really difficult just to come up with a what is it called? A saying for him, because I couldn't think of anything if he should say it out loud to Lickitung or if he should think it, so I just had him think it. Okay, so Lickitung, this particular thing, just the eye, he had to look crazy, even though his eyes are, as you can see, black in there and white on the outside. I had him one crazy looking eye because it was funny. And I didn't know if I had the right length of tongue, so I just guessed pretty much. And then I'm like, oh, it's. Should he be licking something? Should he be holding something? I just thought. I pretty much, when I was shading here, I'm like, well, I didn't think that he would be holding anything in his tongue. I thought he would just, be looking crazy. Eventually, I thought maybe he should have something in his tongue in the background. But that wasn't too hard to handle, considering the fact that I was really thinking about this, and that's another reason why it took 4 hours. And I had to overlap the tail a little because I couldn't fit it all on the paper before. That's why I left a little extra space in the black so I could just add the tail in later. Lickitung, comparatively to Greninja, didn't take as long to shade, color, and draw because he's a lot simpler. He's more roundish and curved, not too many curves, but roundish enough that he didn't require a lot of detail. So I also put his face, as in his expression and his eyes, on the outside because I wanted to shade properly inside of his face when it came time to. You'll see me going over and not clearing the inside of his face and then shading inside. So because I could find the right shadows or have a suggestion for what the right shadows would be until later. But it all turned out well. At least that's what I think. Putting it on there, again, I came up with it pretty much on the spot. I didn't know if he was going to say blah or blam or whatever. See, I was going through multiple things here, but then I just ultimately decided, hey, he should have berries. But I decided, what kind of berries would he have? I thought of a Rost berry at first, and then I was like, oh, I looked down the list. I'm like, wait, he's a normal type. He should have a chillin' berry, and Greninja is half fighting no, he's half fighting no, he's half dark type. Anyway, I was thinking he should have a Chipotle berry or whatever it's called for the it's not for the fighting type attacks. So he would have that Chipotle berry and an Oron berry because I felt like it, and then a Chillin' berry because it powers up normal type attacks. I just chose 3 berries at random. Pretty much that was what I thought, and I had to redo the berries because I messed up on the layer. So thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe to CollabCamerupt and leave a comment below to request next week's SpeedArt. Thank you very much for watching, and thank you for the great suggestion. I hope to do some more interesting drawings in the future. I have a few. But see y'all next time. Huggles.